My stepdaughter screamed, "My real dad is cool, you're boring," and packed her bags. I replied, "Have fun." I didn't stop her. 2 weeks later, she called me sobbing because her cool dad stole her savings and left her to babysit his new girlfriend's kids. And then, 38 male, have been married to my wife, 36, for 7 years. She has a daughter, 16, from a previous relationship. I've been in this kid's life since she was 9. Raised her, paid for her phone, her clothes, her activities, helped with homework, drove her to soccer practice 3 times a week for 4 years until she quit because it was boring. Her biological father hasn't paid child support in 3 years. Shows up maybe twice a year with expensive gifts he probably can't afford, takes her out for a fun weekend, then disappears again. Classic Disneyland dad situation. But to hear my stepdaughter tell it, he's amazing. He's cool. He lets her do whatever she wants. He doesn't have stupid rules like I do. My stupid rules include: be home by 10 p.m. on weeknights, maintain a B average, do your assigned chores, no boys in your room with the door closed, and tell us where you're going. Real totalitarian stuff, right? This has been building for about a year. Every disagreement turned into, "You're not my real dad." Every boundary became, "My dad would let me." Every rule was evidence that I'm a controlling jerk. 2 weeks ago, it came to a head. She wanted to go to a party. Some senior's house, parents out of town, known for getting busted by cops. I said, "No, that's not fair. Everyone's going." "Everyone's not my problem. You're not going." "Mom, tell him he can't control me." My wife backed me up. We both said no. End of discussion. My stepdaughter went nuclear. Screaming, crying, the works. Then she pulled out her phone and called her bio dad. Loud enough for us to hear. "Dad, can I come live with you? I can't deal with them anymore. They're so controlling. You understand me, right?" I heard him through the phone. "Of course, baby girl. You can always come stay with your old man. I'll come get you this weekend." She hung up, smiled at me. "I'm moving in with my real dad. He actually cares about me." I looked at my wife. She looked devastated. I was just tired. "Okay," I said. "What?" My stepdaughter blinked. "Okay, if that's what you want, pack your things." You're not gonna stop me?" "Nope, you're 16. Old enough to make your own choices. Old enough to live with them too." My wife started to protest, but I squeezed her hand. We'd talked about this possibility before. We had a plan. My stepdaughter stared at me, clearly expecting me to fight harder. When I didn't, she stomped upstairs and started packing. Friday came. Bio dad showed up in his beat-up truck, helped her load her stuff. She wouldn't even look at us. "You'll regret this," she yelled from the passenger seat. "Maybe," I said. "Have fun." They drove off. My wife cried that night. I held her. "She'll be back," I said. "And when she comes back, it'll be on our terms. What if she doesn't come back?" Then we gave her the freedom to make her own choices. That's all we can do. Here's what my stepdaughter didn't know. Bio dad lives in a 1-bedroom apartment 2 hours away. He's currently unemployed after getting fired from his 3rd job this year. His new girlfriend has 3 kids under age 7. He's been dodging child support enforcement for years. We knew all this. My wife's lawyer keeps tabs, but I didn't tell my stepdaughter any of that. Some lessons you have to learn yourself. It's been 2 weeks. We've heard nothing. My wife checks her phone constantly. I've been keeping busy. Working, hitting the gym, meal prepping for one less person. Yesterday my stepdaughter called. She was crying. Hard. Can I come home?" Update 1. 3 days later. Got a lot of questions about what happened, so here's the update. When my stepdaughter called crying, asking to come home, I didn't answer right away. "What happened?" I asked. Between sobs, "Dad, he took my money. All of it, from my savings account." Backstory. My stepdaughter had about $3,200 saved up. Birthday money, Christmas money, some from a part-time job she'd worked last summer. We'd helped her open a savings account when she was 14. Joint account, her and my wife. "How did he take it?" I asked, though I already knew. He said he needed to borrow it, for rent. Said he'd pay me back next week. But then I heard him and his girlfriend talking about buying a new TV, and I looked at the account, and it's empty. All of it. I felt bad for her. I did. But I also needed her to understand something. "That's rough," I said. Can you come get me? Please?" "Where's your dad?" "He left. Said he had to go to work, but he doesn't have a job. His girlfriend is here with her kids, and she told me I needed to watch them while she goes to the store. So you're babysitting. I'm not a babysitter, but she said since I'm living here rent-free, I need to contribute, and there's no food, like barely anything, and I'm sleeping on the couch because there's only one bedroom and the girlfriend and her kids sleep there with dad. Sounds like you're learning a lot about your real dad. Silence on her end. Please, she whispered. I'll do anything. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Please come get me. I'll talk to your mom, I said. We'll call you back. Hung up. My wife was right there, had heard the whole thing. She was torn between mother instinct and the need to let our daughter face consequences. We should go get her, she said. Not yet. She's in a bad situation. She's learning. And she's safe. She's not in danger, just uncomfortable. That's different. You're really gonna make her stay there? For a little while longer, yes. My wife wasn't happy, but she trusted me. We'd agreed to present a united front no matter what. I called my stepdaughter back an hour later. Here's the deal, I said. You can come home, but not today, not tomorrow. You're going to stay there for 1 week. Experience what life with your real dad is actually like. A week? I can't. Yes, you can. You wanted this. You chose this. Now you live with it. That's cruel. No, that's called consequences. You told us we were controlling. You told us your dad was better. Prove it. Make it work for 1 week. What if I can't? Then you'll figure it out. You're resourceful. I hate you. Okay, call us in a week. I hung up. My wife looked at me like I'd grown a second head. A week? Really? She needs to understand what she threw away. 1 week of reality beats 1,000 lectures. That was 3 days ago. My stepdaughter has called 6 times, texted maybe 20 times. Each time, same story. Bio dad is never home. When he is home, he's drunk or hungover. The girlfriend treats her like a live-in nanny. There's never enough food. She's sleeping on a couch that smells like wet dog. The kids are wild and don't listen to her. She has no privacy. Bio dad keeps promising to pay back her money but hasn't done any. Each time, I say the same thing. 4 more days. My wife is struggling with this. She wants to rescue our daughter. I get it. But I also know that if we rescue her now, she'll learn nothing. Last night, Bio dad called my wife. First time he's called her in 2 years. You need to come get your daughter. Excuse me? My wife put him on speaker. She's not working out here. She's mouthy, she doesn't help out, and she's putting stress on my relationship. She's 16. She's your daughter. Yeah, but I didn't sign up for full-time parenting. That's your job. You told her she could live with you. I thought it would be fun, hang out with my kid, but she's got an attitude and my girl doesn't like her. Then maybe you should step up and actually parent. Look, just come get her. She can visit sometimes, but this isn't working. No. What? You wanted to be the cool dad. You told her she could live with you. You keep her for the week we agreed on. Then we'll discuss it. I never agreed to. You agreed when you picked her up. She's your responsibility right now. Figure it out. She hung up on him. We looked at each other. My wife was shaking. Did I do the right thing? She asked. Yeah, you did. 4 more days. Then we'll go get her. Then the real work begins. Update 2. 1 week later. The week is up. Yesterday we drove 2 hours to pick up my stepdaughter. The apartment complex was worse than I expected. Run down, trash everywhere, broken playground equipment. Bio dad's apartment was on the 3rd floor, no elevator. We knocked. The girlfriend answered. Early 20s, looked exhausted. 3 kids hanging on her screaming. Thank God, she said, she's on the couch. We walked in. The smell hit first. Dirty diapers, stale cigarette smoke, something rotting in the kitchen. My stepdaughter was curled up on a sagging couch, still in the same clothes from 3 days ago, based on her texts. She looked up. Red eyes, greasy hair, lost weight. Can we go? She asked quietly. Where's your father? My wife asked. Gone. He left yesterday, said he needed space. The girlfriend snorted. He went to his buddy's place because he couldn't handle the noise. Left me with all 4 kids. 4? I asked. Her, mine, same difference when you're stuck doing everything alone. My stepdaughter stood up. My stuff's in trash bags in the corner. We loaded up the car in silence. The whole time I kept waiting for Biodad to show up. He didn't. The drive home was quiet. My stepdaughter sat in the back, staring out the window. About halfway home, she spoke. I'm sorry. We'll talk when we get home, my wife said. We got home. carried her stuff inside. She stood in the living room, looking around like she was seeing it for the first time. "Can I take a shower?" she asked. "Of course." She was in there for 40 minutes. When she came out, her eyes were red again. We sat down in the living room, time for the conversation. "So," I said, "what did you learn?" She was quiet for a long time. "That I was stupid." "Keep going." "That my dad, my bio dad, isn't who I thought he was. And that I had it really good here and I didn't appreciate it. That's a start." She looked at me. "Are you going to let me stay?" "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you actually learned something, or you're just saying what you think we want to hear." "I learned, I promise." I pulled out a piece of paper. "These are the new rules. The house rules haven't changed, but there are some additions specific to you." I'd spent the week writing them. 1. Apology letters to both of us. Real ones, not just sorry. 2. Extra chores for the next month to make up for the disruption to the household. 3. All phone privileges earned back gradually. Start with basic calls and texts, no social media for 2 weeks. 4. Mandatory family therapy, all 3 of us. 5. No contact with biodad unless supervised and approved by us. 6. Curfew moved to 9 p.m. for the next 2 months, then we'll reassess. 7. Every dollar she wants to spend beyond basics has to be approved and tracked until trust is rebuilt. She read the list. I waited for the explosion. It didn't come. "Okay," she said quietly. "I deserve this. I know I do." My wife started crying, happy tears this time. "There's one more thing," I said. "Your money. I know it's gone. He's not going to pay me back." "You're right, he's not. But we are." She looked up. "What?" "We're going to pay back the $30s and $200, but not all at once. You're going to work for it." "How?" "Extra chores have a dollar value now. We'll keep a ledger. Every week we'll calculate what you've earned. When you hit $3,200, we're even." That's too generous." "It's not generous. It's teaching you that money has to be earned. Your bio dad stole from you. That was wrong. But you also made the choice to trust him with something valuable. That was a mistake. This way, you learn the value of what was taken, and you learn not to make that mistake again." She nodded, wiped her eyes. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure." "Why didn't you try harder to stop me from leaving?" I thought about that. "Because you needed to make your own choice, and you needed to see where that choice led. If I'd forced you to stay, you would have resented me forever. This way, you chose, and you learned." "I was really mean to you." "Yeah, you were. I'm sorry. I know. Write it in the letter." She actually smiled. Small, but real. "One more thing," my wife said. "Your biodad called today. He wants to know if you're okay." My stepdaughter's face hardened. "What did you tell him?" "Nothing yet." "What do you want us to tell him?" Tell him I'm fine, and that I don't want to talk to him right now." "Are you sure?" my wife asked. "I'm sure. He stole from me. He used me. He didn't want a daughter. He wanted a babysitter. I'm done." I was proud of her in that moment. It was the most mature thing I'd ever heard her say. The aftermath has been interesting. Biodad has called 6 times, left voicemails ranging from apologetic to angry to victimized. Each time, the same theme. This is somehow our fault for turning her against him. My wife finally answered yesterday and told him that until he pays back the $3,200 he stole, he's not welcome in our daughter's life. He sputtered, made excuses, hung up. We haven't heard from him since. My stepdaughter has been different, quieter, more thoughtful. She does her chores without complaining. She asked to help with dinner last night. She even apologized to the neighbors for some rude comment she made weeks ago that I didn't even know about. The therapy sessions start next week. The therapist specializes in blended families and teen behavioral issues. She's got her work cut out for her. But here's the thing. I see my stepdaughter looking at me differently now. Not with resentment or annoyance, more like respect, maybe even gratitude. Yesterday she came downstairs and just hugged me. Didn't say anything, just hugged me for a solid 30 seconds and then went back to her room. My wife saw it. "You did good," she said. "We did good," I corrected. Is it a happy ending? I don't know. She's still 16, still has a lot of growing up to do, still might backslide, but she's home, she's learning, and she's starting to understand what real parenting looks like versus what fun-time Disney dad looks like. That's enough for now. Final update, 6 weeks later. Time for the final update because people keep asking how it's going. The short version. It's complicated, but better. The apology letters took her 3 tries each. The first attempts were surface-level sorry I was bad stuff. I sent them back. Told her to actually think about what she did and why it hurt. The final versions were real. She wrote about feeling confused, about being angry at circumstances she couldn't control, her bio-dad leaving when she was young, about taking that anger out on people who actually cared about her, about how she built up this fantasy version of her bio-dad because the reality was too painful. Reading them hurt. But in a good way. The chores thing has been effective. She's earned back about $400 so far. At this rate, it'll take her about a year to work off the full $3,200. She complained once about how long it would take. I reminded her that's exactly how long it would have taken her to save that money in the first place. She hasn't complained since. Therapy has been intense. The therapist doesn't pull punches. Called out my stepdaughter's manipulation tactics, her fantasy thinking, her unwillingness to accept reality. Also called out my wife for being too soft sometimes, too willing to rescue instead of letting natural consequences play out. Called me out too. Said I can be too rigid, too focused on rules over relationship building. Fair points all around. The bio-dad situation resolved itself in the most predictable way possible. He sent a text 2 weeks ago. Hey sweetie, I miss you. Wanna grab lunch sometime? Dad's treat. Like nothing happened, like he didn't steal $3,200 and abandon her to babysit strangers' kids in a 1-bedroom apartment with no food. My stepdaughter showed me the text. What should I say? What do you want to say? She thought about it, typed out a response, showed it to me before sending. You stole from me, you lied to me, you used me. When you pay back the $3,200 you stole, we can talk about lunch. Until then, lose my number. She hit send, blocked his number. He sent messages through my wife's phone. Same excuses. It wasn't stealing, it was borrowing. She's being dramatic. You're turning her against me. My wife blocked him too. Last week we got a letter from the Child Support Enforcement Office. Bio-dad was pulled over for a broken taillight. They ran his name, discovered he was thousands behind on child support. They arrested him. He's out now, but on a payment plan. We're actually seeing child support checks again for the first time in 3 years. Tiny amounts, $150 a month, but it's something. That money goes straight into a new savings account for our daughter. One that only she and my wife have access to. Learning moment. School-wise, my stepdaughter is doing better. Her grades actually went up. She's joined the school newspaper. Turns out she likes writing. Who knew? She's made new friends too. Better ones. The kind who have curfews and do homework and don't sneak out to parties. The relationship between us has changed. She calls me by my first name now, instead of avoiding calling me anything. Small step, but significant. Last week she asked if I'd help her practice for her driver's permit test. We spent an hour going through the manual together. You're good at explaining things, she said. Thanks. My bio-dad probably wouldn't have helped with this. Probably not. I'm glad you're here. I had to take a second before responding to that one. I'm glad I'm here too. My wife asked me last night if I have any regrets about how we handled everything. Honest answer? No. Could I have stopped my stepdaughter from leaving? Maybe. Could have made it harder at least. But she needed to see the reality of her choices. She needed to understand that cool dad and good dad aren't the same thing. She needed to learn that love isn't about fun and freedom and no rules. It's about showing up, being consistent, making the hard choices because they're the right choices. She got that lesson. It cost her $3,200 and 2 weeks of her life in a terrible situation. But she got it. Some people in the comments said, I was cruel for making her stay there the full week. That I should have rescued her immediately when she called. Maybe. But I don't think so. If I'd rescued her day one, she would have learned that crying and apologizing gets her out of consequences. She would have come home, been grateful for a day or two, then gradually gone back to the same entitled behavior. This way, she lived with her choice. She saw what cool dad really meant. She understood what she had here, what she threw away, and what it takes to earn it back. Is our relationship perfect now? Hell no. She's still a teenager, still moody, still makes mistakes, still tests boundaries, but she's not screaming, "You're not my real dad" anymore. She's not throwing me in my face every time she doesn't get her way. She's learning that real family isn't about biology. It's about who shows up, who stays, who cares enough to enforce rules even when they're unpopular. Last thing, Bio Dad sent another text yesterday to my stepdaughter's phone that she hasn't blocked yet because she forgot she had an old phone in a drawer. "Hey baby girl, your old man misses you. How about we start over? I'll take you shopping, we can hang out, I'll show you I can do better." She showed it to me. "What do you think?" she asked. I think he's saying what he thinks you want to hear. But I also think people can change. Whether he has or not, I don't know. "Do you think I should give him another chance?" That's your choice. You're old enough to make it. Just remember, people show you who they are through their actions, not their words. He's had a lot of words, not many actions. She nodded, deleted the message, put the old phone back in the drawer. "Maybe someday," she said, "but not today." "That's fair." She hugged me again, getting used to that. "Thank you," she said, "for not giving up on me even when I deserved it. That's what family does." "Real family," she corrected. "Yeah, real family." So that's where we are. Not perfect, not resolved completely, but better, healing, moving forward. My stepdaughter learned that cool isn't the same as good, that freedom without responsibility is chaos, that the parent who says no sometimes cares more than the parent who always says yes. Hard lessons, but necessary ones. And me? I learned that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the consequences of their choices. Not because you want them to suffer, but because you want them to grow. Would I do it again the same way? Yeah, I would. She needed to leave to understand why she should stay. She needed to lose everything to appreciate what she had. Now she knows. And that knowledge is worth more than $3,200. Worth more than 2 weeks of discomfort. Worth more than any lecture I could have given. She's home. She's learning. She's growing. That's all any parent can ask for. Final note. Bio Dad is still dodging most of his child support obligations. The girlfriend broke up with him after he got arrested. Last we heard, he's living with his buddy and working part-time at a warehouse. My stepdaughter hasn't asked about him in 3 weeks. Maybe one day they'll have a relationship. Maybe they won't. Either way, she knows who her real family is now. And that's what matters. More great content is coming. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out.